Hi neighbor, welcome to this week's episode. This week is Art Week. Join us as we take you on our very own Hi Neighbor Art Crawl. To start the show, we jump into theater and dance today with Professor Derek as he sits down with the cast of Eurydice, the first main stage production put on by ASU's Theater and Dance Department this year. Afterwards, we take you on a mini virtual tour of the Turchin Center for Visual Arts' newest exhibit and sit down with Christy Chinosky, the Director of Arts Education and Outreach, to get a more in-depth look at the Turchin Center. And last, but certainly not least, this week I was able to experience the 11th Annual Fiddlers Convention, and I take you through all of the sights, sounds, and tastes. All of this and more coming up right here on Hi Neighbor.
Hi neighbor, Professor Derek here. Today's episode, we take a peek at a new look at an old classic as the Appalachian State Department of Theater and Dance takes on Eurydice by Sarah Rule. Today we have with us Zoe Dean, who plays the main character, and Shane Buckheit, who in an old twist on an old tale plays the father. So welcome both of you, so glad you could make it. This is neat because the three of us have actually been on stage together.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick your brains.
Perfect.
Yes, I want to find out, first of all, what an audience member is going to experience when they come and see this play. What are they going to see? What are they going to hear? What's going to be their experience when they leave?
Well, they are going to experience a story that is a little hard to explain. But
now it's based on an old myth.
Yes, the myth of Orpheus, but this myth, the old myth is through Orpheus's eyes about losing his wife and going to the underworld, but this play is through Eurydice's eyes, which is pretty cool. So you'll see her facing the loss of many things. I won't give away too much. Going to the underworld, going through all that trouble there, and ultimately something else happens, but we won't spoil that either.
Okay, we don't want to spoil it.
We won't spoil. There's lots of spoilers.
All right, well, Shane, let's throw a question at you.
Right.
You're playing Eurydice's dad.
Yeah.
New character to the old twist. What is that like?
It's very difficult for me
Yeah.
because a lot of people say you can't understand the love a parent has
Sure.
unless you become a parent yourself.
Sure.
So that's been really difficult to try and find. But my brother actually recently had a daughter with his girlfriend. But seeing him become a father and me being, an uncle to his niece, that's really helped a lot. Seeing how much he just cares for his daughter, and it's something I've drawn a lot on, trying to establish a relationship with our characters.
So you two have been working on this relationship and trying to make it
Yes.
tangible so the audience can see.
Most definitely.
Great. So title role in a play, in a new play, what is that challenge like?
It's terrifying, honestly. It's just, you want to do this role justice because of how, the character Eurydice is amazing. She's a pretty awesome female. She's very empowered. And so there's just a lot to her and a lot that happens to her. So having to go through all of the emotions this character has to go through is very challenging, and also portraying it to the audience so they understand what's happening is very challenging, and just the fact that it's a title role is a little nerve-wracking, but I'm very excited for everyone to see it.
So you're talking about a situation where there's all these rules now imposed. It's obviously a sort of socio-political statement. How did you guys find that or identify with that?
Well,
I've stumped my interview.
you did. You stumped us. I guess just living in the society that we're living in right now, we're able to relate with these not the exact rules, but like the strictness of it, I guess.
Yeah.
And, with the political stuff that's happening now, we're able to relate with that a lot. Like the Lord of the Underworld, you'll get to meet him / her. And they kind of represent the whole, like the power that's happening right now, the power struggle. So we're able to deal with those rules, like, a lot better than I guess most actors would because of the society we're living in today.
So it's safe to say there's a social commentary going on here.
Yes.
That's neat. Well, thank you both for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And sharing your unique perspectives for these productions. It's interesting. You can see these two in action starting Wednesday, February 20th. to Sunday, February 24th, 2019, 7 p.m. in the Valborg Theater. For more information, you can call the Valborg box office at 828-262-4046 or go online to theaterandDance.appstate.edu. Coming up next on Theater and Dance Today, we'll continue our discussion about Eurydice with the director, Dr. Kinyon Zato. Hi, neighbor. We're back in the studio with Dr. Kinyon Zato, who is the director of the Department of Theater and Dance's latest endeavor, Eurydice by Sarah Ruhl. And she's graciously stopped by to answer a couple questions for me, especially, what was your concept behind this play, which is an ancient myth set in modern day?
Yeah. The story is based on a Greek myth about Orpheus and Eurydice. And I find there are a lot of relevance about the story to today's world. And we are so busy these days, and we really think about people that are around us are very important to us, and we only recognize their importance sometime when they're gone. So that is a tragedy. So this play allows us to have a space to think about people who are close to us and how we should treasure our relationships. Yeah.
That's great. It's very relevant. And in talking to some of the student actors in the cast a little while ago, they seem to really latch on to the relationships. And they talked a little bit about the connection to today's society and things like that. Being a scholar as well as a director, we were talking a little bit before about how you've taken some of your research and applied it to the show itself, and what have you done to kind of bridge that gap from research to actual production?
Yes, so as a scholar and researcher, I first of all try to help my students to look at the play in its historical, social, cultural, and also theoretical context. And with my background in intercultural theater, I try to bring together Eastern and Western theater traditions when I approach production. So that's what I try to do in this production of Eurydice. And as a teacher, I try to help my students to understand how they can learn more about the world through theater. So actually they would be able to see how arts can transcend cultural and national boundaries.
So in reading this play, because we all read the play as the season selection committee and all that other stuff to try to put the season together, what was your first impression when you read it?
When I read it, I was really impressed with the use of imagery, is how the playwright combines several different theater genres, including tragedy, comedy, and also fantasy. And I also realized that I could use, combine, as I said, many of the Eastern and Western theater conventions, including movement and stylized techniques, and also realism in this production. So I think that's really exciting to approach and direct this show. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Kinyon. Again, we were talking with Dr. Kinyon Zato from the Department of Theater and Dance. Coming up, Turchin Center with Callie Walton.
Hi, neighbor. For over 15 years, the Turchin Center for the Visual Arts at Appalachian State University has been engaging visitors from the university, community, nation, and beyond in creating unique experiences through dynamic and accessible exhibition, education, and outreach. Our producer, Faith Hatton, was able to check out one of their newest and most unique exhibits in the museum. Take a look.
The Turchin Center for the Visual Arts, located in the center of downtown King Street, opened a new temporary addition to its exhibits in December of 2018. The exhibit, called Full Circle, was brought to Turchin by Center, a not-for-profit photogenic arts and time-based media organization. Featuring winners of last year's Choice Awards, Center focuses on bringing light to entries that investigate current social, environmental, and political issues of global importance. Executive Director of Center, Laura Presley, takes us on a tour of last year's winners.
Hi, my name is Laura Presley. I'm the Executive Director of Center, which is a nonprofit organization started 25 years ago based in Santa Fe, New Mexico. But we support an international constituency of documentary and fine art photographers. Our mission is to honor, support, and provide opportunities to photographers. And we do that with our annual awards, exhibitions, a jury portfolio review event called Review Santa Fe. And we are very pleased to partner with the Turchin Center this year, as they are the only destination for this international award and grant winners exhibition, which has been curated by Marianne Redding. So every year we ask some of the industry's leading editors, curators, publishers, and others who are using photography really well to choose some of the award and grant recipients from a pool of hundreds of applicants. And these awards have changed people's lives, photographers' lives, including Thomas Deschaux, Julie Blackman, and in 2003 we awarded Alex Soth, who's probably our most famous. He went on to get his work published. That was all because of his recognition through the Santa Fe Prize way back in 2003. So now I thought we could go around and look at some of the winners' works.
This work is by Jerry Takagawa, called Balancing Cultures. It's the first place of our Curator's Choice Award, chosen by Lisa Hostetler, PhD and curator in charge of the George Eastman Museum. And she says about the work, she chose this for first place because it combines family photographs and memorabilia with images of signage and ephemera related to the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. So the works are poignant meditations on the intertwining of personal and political history during a particularly grim era in our country's past. This work by Vikesh Kapoor was the recipient of our project development grant, which is $5,000, exhibition, and a whole sort of professional development package. It was chosen by Leslie Urania, who is the associate curator of photographs at the National Portrait Gallery at the Smithsonian, and it's called See You at Home. And this work about sort of migration and aging. The photographs include past and present, sort of make you feel a little displaced, which is how the subject feels.
Full Circle is currently on display in the Turchin Center on the second floor of the West Wing in Gallery A and will be available to browse until April 27th, 2019.
The museum is always changing and adapting to meet the needs of students, faculty, and visitors from all around. Here to discuss the center, I'm with Christy Chinoski, Director of Arts Education and Outreach for Turchin Center for the Visual Arts. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
So can you tell me a little bit about what your position entails at Turchin Center?
Sure. So as you said, I'm the Director of Arts Education and Outreach, and a lot of what I do is connecting community resources of the Turchin Center to our campus and our community members.
Awesome.
In a variety of ways.
Okay, so how would you describe the Turchin Center and its mission?
So the Turchin Center's mission is in a lot of ways to share contemporary arts from our region, our nation, and international artists to our campus community and to our community at large. We also serve as a gateway of sorts, kind of metaphorical and also physical, between campus and community. So when you look at the Turchin Center and you see the big, it almost makes an archway from King Street, going from King Street into campus.
Okay, so when someone walks into Turchin Center, what can they expect to see?
They can expect to see a variety of contemporary art from community members in our region and international artists and everything in between.
Okay, so why is the center an important outlet for students?
Well, we hear a lot of different things from students about the importance of the Turchin Center. The students are really important to us in a lot of ways because we employ students to help us as ambassadors for our galleries. So their role, the ones that work at the Turchin Center, their role is to be guardians of the work and also help our audiences, the folks that come in, patrons of the arts, to come in and enjoy and get a little deeper understanding. Any kind of student can come into the Turchin Center and enjoy it. It's free all of the time, and we provide a lot of different outlets for students. Almost every day there's something free that's offered for students outside of just the gallery experience. On Mondays we have paint nights where it's like a guided painting class that happens in the classroom at the Turchin Center. On Tuesdays we have Tai Chi that's offered in the gallery, and on nice days sometimes they go into the courtyard or the sculpture garden at the Turchin Center. Wednesdays and Thursdays, we have a creative open studio in the evenings in the upstairs classroom at the Turchin Center. And Fridays, every other Friday, I should say, I think it's twice a month, we have an Inkalicious alcohol inks class that students are invited to attend in the mornings.
Awesome. You guys have something going on every day, it seems like.
Most of the time, and every first Friday, we have interesting things happening in our galleries. A lot of times we have artists that will come and be part of those first Friday events. It's part of a bigger downtown Boone art crawl, and a lot of times we have refreshments and music. We'll be doing something in April 5th. We're having a really big celebration of the arts. We'll have a lot of our artists on hand to talk about their artwork, and there'll be music, and it will be really an exciting time at the Turchin Center. We would love for every student to come and visit the Turchin Center.
Well, thank you very much for being here today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
For more information on the Turchin Center or to plan your own tour, you can find them online at www.tcva@appstate.edu. Coming up, Laird takes High Neighbor to the 11th Annual Appalachian Fiddlers Convention held right here on campus.
Hi neighbor. To wrap up the show, this past week, the 11th Annual Old Time Fiddlers Convention blew into town. I got to experience firsthand some of the unique music, tastes, and people found only here in the high country. It was my very first time going to the Old Time Fiddlers Convention, and I was shocked to see what was happening in the student union. The building, normally filled with the sound of footsteps and students busily going from class to class, was filled with lively dance tunes and the culture of Appalachia. I learned that old-time fiddling, in addition to being an important cultural artifact of the Appalachia region, is also the point of origin for other genres of music like country rock and bluegrass. And I had the opportunity to speak with some members of APPS about the importance of this genre of music. Could you two tell me what you do here for the convention?
Yeah, so Bubba and I are the chair people of the Appalachian Heritage Council through APPS, so we've been working for months to organize this event.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into it. We've been working on contracting process and getting everybody here since late October, and it's pretty much been nonstop since then.
Now, the Fiddlers Convention has been going for 11 years straight. What kind of events are going on that you're most excited about, that you want people to come out and know about?
I love to see the competitions, specifically the youth competitions, because there's some 5-year-olds that can really kill the banjo. It's amazing.
There's also the Luthier Gathering that happens in Roan Mountain, and that one's that's really cool. You get to see there's people who come with all sorts of banjos, fiddles. Sometimes they come with dulcimers, and they know everything there is to know about those instruments.
Now, fiddling and many of the crafts, food, arts here that you can find here at the convention are really heavily related to the long-standing culture of the Appalachia region. What do you think is the most important, significant part of this event in general?
I think just letting the people of the region tell their own story, because often Appalachia is defined by outsiders who don't really have a sense of what's going on within the community. So just seeing people so in their element is amazing to me.
Yeah, definitely. The people here and, being connected by music and art, and it really creates some amazing communities.
I learned that the Old Time Fiddlers Convention is not just about the music, but also about celebrating other cultural aspects of the Appalachia region. For instance, there were a variety of vendors there selling various crafts. There were luthiers selling custom-made and antique instruments of all shapes and sizes, as well as a dining hall where you could try some of the traditional cuisine of the high country, like spoon bread and pork cheek. After enjoying my meal, I also had the opportunity to speak with some of the talented young musicians who were there, actively working to preserve this musical tradition. This style of music, old-time fiddling as well as just bluegrass and those kinds of things, are Appalachian traditions. They're an important part of our cultural heritage. What does this style of music, what does performing with banjo mean to you?
It means a lot. Like, some people in my family played and other stuff. I just really enjoy playing it. That's how.
It means a lot, man. Like I grew up listening to this music and all that stuff.
What is your favorite part about these kinds of events? What do you think these events represent for this genre of music, as well as just the community itself?
The things I like about these events are Like, I get to meet new people, I get to compete with other people, have fun. It's just a whole lot of fun.
For the past 11 years, the Old Time Fiddlers Convention has sought to preserve one of the important musical traditions of Appalachia. There are musicians from all across the country here, and everyone is extremely talented and has a story to tell and a tune to dance to.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Hi Neighbor.
That's all we have for you this week. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at watchapptv.com and check out our YouTube channel, AppTV, for more content.
For all of us here,
Bye, neighbor.